How do we make the most of this blessed day, the day of Jumu'ah, the day regarding which the Prophet ﷺ informed us is the Sayyid Ayyam al-Usbu', the best, the master of the days of this week? The Prophet ﷺ has told us about the importance of this day. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself spoke of Yawmul Jumu'ah, and the whole surah of the Quran speaks about this. So there are various things which help us get into the zone to make sure we make the most of this day. What are these sunnahs of Friday? Number one, make sure that you prepare yourself physically. The physical preparation for Jumu'ah helps to get the mind on track for this great ibadah of Jumu'ah itself. So those are things such as the Prophet ﷺ having mentioned that one showers and takes the ghusl for this great day. One is thereby feeling positive, feeling at one's best, smelling good, applying some perfume and the like. These are things which helps get you in that frame of mind, recognizing that this day is a special day, and it's a day where one is preparing oneself especially to stand before Allah in this great act of ibadah which is known as Salatul Jumu'ah. The Prophet ﷺ also informed us about the second thing which is really important when it comes to Jumu'ah, and that is the importance of actually arriving at Jumu'ah early. Getting to Jumu'ah early helps us avoid actually getting late to the place itself, because if you aim to be there early, then even if you are met by traffic and other obstacles, you still will ensure that you're not arriving there such that you've missed the khutbah, you've missed the remembrance of Allah, and you've missed many of the central benefits of this great act of Jumu'ah, and overall, therefore, the benefits and blessings of this day. The Prophet ﷺ informed us that on the day of Jumu'ah, there are angels who are standing or seated by, or they're standing by the entrance of the place where Jumu'ah is going to be performed. And they're noting down, like scribes, all the names of the attendees who are coming for Jumu'ah. Your name and my name should be included therein. And if we enter before the khatib starts the khutbah, before he starts the sermon, then our names are included. But when the khatib starts the sermon itself, they sit down and they are listening to the khutbah themselves. So that means if you want your name included on that majestic register, we need to get there early. The third and very important thing to do, of course, is when you're in the khutbah, is to pay attention. That is attentive presence. To have your full attention at what the khatib is saying. This is really important because what he's saying is referred to in the Quran as the remembrance of God, dhikrullah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made the whole day surround this actual act of the Jumu'ah itself, and the listening to the khutbah is actually almost, according to some scholars, in place of the two other rak'ahs, because remember, Jumu'ah is only prayed as 2 rak'ahs, whereas usually Dhuhr will be prayed as 4 rak'ahs. So these 2 khutbahs almost stand in place of the 2 rak'ahs that would be there for Dhuhr. It's therefore really important to pay attention and not get distracted looking left or right by conversation or chatter or being on one's mobile phone or just playing around. The next really important attribute, which is the 4th sunnah of Jumu'ah, is to make sure one is sending plentiful salutations and benedictions upon the Prophet ﷺ. So the 4th is the durood, saying Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad, to the end of the dua. Or you can even simply say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad and sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Any of these litanies of praises sent upon the Prophet ﷺ, and asking Allah to send blessings upon him and to increase in the praise of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, is your way of conditioning your heart and your mind and your soul to appreciate the guidance that you've learnt in the khutbah and the broader guidance that you know of Islam anyway, and you renew your relationship, your pact with Allah and with the teachings of Islam. The 5th of the sunnahs of Jumu'ah, of course, is to be making lots of dua. Throughout the day of Jumu'ah, there could be a time when your du'as will be answered. many of the scholars, they discuss when is the best time, when is that hour that the Prophet ﷺ spoke of, that if a believer is making dua to Allah for it, and it's something good, it's not something which is causing the severing of ties of kinship, you're asking Allah for it, that He will definitely grant it to you. There are many different opinions as to when that time is, so it's advisable to use any time and every time throughout the day. But the majority of scholars talk about this hour between Asr and Maghrib. There's a period of time between Asr and Maghrib where if you make that dua, it is hugely hoped with high degrees of optimism that that's the time when your dua will be answered. So turn to Allah at that time and empty out your heart's desires and needs before Allah, the King of Kings, and He will respond to your du'as. Also, remember to recite Surah Al-Kahf, because this is one of the things that it's hoped, inshallah ta'ala, will be a source of light for a person from one Friday to the next. To recite these beautiful ayat, which is chapter number 18 of the Quran. So let's be of these people who remember these sunan of Yawm al-Jumu'ah and thereby have made the most of this tremendous blessed day, the day of Friday.